Hey friends, welcome back to Irini's Corner. Today we are crocheting the scale pattern. This is a very textured 2-row repeat easy pattern. So let's get started. I'm gonna be using worsted yarn together with a 4mm hook. If you want your project to be flowy, then use a 5 or a 5.5mm hook. That will give you a better result. The only reason I use the 4mm a lot is that it gives me a good control on my yarn while I'm like on camera, because with being on camera makes things a little bit harder to crochet. So this hook just helps me to have more control on camera, but definitely go with a 5 or a 5.5mm hook. Now you can do this project using DK yarn, so weight 3 yarn. You can do it with thinner thread, but I don't believe it will work if you use thicker than a weight 4 yarn. So weight 5 will not be suitable for it. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna be starting with a slip knot, and then for this pattern we need a multiple of 3 plus 2. So we're gonna do a foundation chain that is a multiple of 3 plus 2. For this tutorial I'm gonna chain 29 stitches. So 27, that's a multiple of 3, and then we add 2 more chains at the end. Okay, 1, 2. Here are the 29 stitches. Now I like to work in the back bump of the chain, so I'm gonna work into these loops right here. Now this is optional, and to start row number 1 I'm gonna stretch the loop that I have on my hook to the height of a half double crochet stitch, and then I'm gonna chain 1. This is the turning chain, so we're not working into it. We're gonna start working into the following chain. And as I said, I like working into the back bump, so I'm gonna do a half double by yarning over, inserting my hook into the bump, yarn over and pull a loop, and then yarn over and go through all loops. So we're gonna repeat the half doubles throughout this row. We started with 29 stitches, so we have to have 29 half double crochet when we finish this row. Great. 29 half double crochet stitches for row 1. Now I'm gonna stretch the loop a little bit to the height of a half double crochet and chain 1. That's our turning chain. And then into the first stitch I'm gonna do a half double, and for row 2 I'm gonna begin and end the row with a half double crochet. This is not included in the repeat, so we have 1 extra half double at the beginning and 1 extra half double at the end. Now starting the next stitch, that's the beginning of our repeat. So I'm gonna work a half double for the next 3 stitches. Here is 1, 2, and the 3rd stitch. Then I'm gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna look into row 1. So here is row 1, and I will find the stitch that is sitting under the first half double of the repeat. So again, this stitch is an extra stitch for the edge. We don't count this one. This is the first stitch of the repeat. So we go underneath it. A little bit to the right is gonna be the stitch we're looking for. Now you can just count 1, 2 from row 1, and this will be your stitch. Okay, so this is the stitch that we're gonna be working around for the next step. So after we chained 3, we're gonna go around that stitch from the front to the back and then out on the front side. So we're doing a front post single crochet. So we're gonna yarn over and pull 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and finish the single crochet. Okay, now we have joined the 3 chains to row 1. Now I'm gonna work around these 3 chains 5 single crochet. So here's 1, 2, 3. You can squeeze the stitches a little bit to have more room for the extra 2 stitches here. Okay, so 5 single crochet over the chain 3. And then we're gonna do the repeat again. So without skipping any stitches, we're gonna continue with 3 half doubles. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And then we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then again, we're gonna locate the stitch sitting under the first half double of the repeat. A little bit to the right is where the stitch is. Now another way of making sure that you have picked the right stitch is counting 2 stitches after the stitch that you did the previous join in. So 1, 2, and then the third one will be where we should do our joining. So it will be this stitch right there. Okay, so go around the post from the front to the back and out on the front side, yarn over and pull a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Now around the chain 3, we're gonna do 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, we're gonna do the repeat again. 3 half doubles, 1, 2, 3, 3 chains, count 2 half doubles on row 1 after the stitch where we did the joining. So 1, 2, and then around the third we're gonna do the front post single crochet. Go around it, yarn over, pull a loop, yarn over, go through the 2 loops, and then work your way up using 5 single crochet stitches around the chain 3. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so we're gonna be repeating this throughout the row until we have 1 stitch remaining. So this is what the work should look like for row number 2, and then I still have 1 more stitch to do. So here is the last stitch. So I'm gonna work a half double into this last stitch to have a symmetric edge with the beginning. So we started with 1 half double and we're ending the work with 1 half double. All right, so let's start row number 3. So we're gonna stretch the loop and then chain 1, Then we're gonna do a half double into the first stitch, and then for the next 3 stitches and throughout the row, we're gonna be working into the third loop of the row below. So if we look here at the half doubles, we have the V stitches right here on the top, and if we bend the stitch a little bit, there is another loop, a third loop that will get exposed right here. This is where we are gonna be working our stitches for row 3. Okay, so yarn over. Here are the 3 double crochet. The third loop should be on the top left side of the stitch of the post. So here is the post, the loop is right here. Okay, so we're gonna go there, pull a loop, and we're working half doubles into the third loop. Yarn over. So here is the post, here is the third loop. I'm gonna go in there and pull a loop, and then here is the third one. Okay, so we're gonna work half doubles in the third loop throughout all the stitches of row 2. So all the half doubles, we're gonna work in the third loops, and then once we get to the end, we're gonna have 1 stitch left, which is the edging stitch, and we're gonna work a regular half double into that stitch. So the same thing that we did in the first stitch right here. So the first stitch, we worked it as a regular half double under the V of the stitch below, and we're gonna do the same thing in the last stitch. The stitches in between are all worked in the third loop of the stitch below. All right, so I finished row number 3, and then I'm gonna stretch the loop a little bit and then chain 1. This is my turning chain. Okay, so row number 4 is gonna be a repeat of row number 2. So we're gonna start with a half double, that's the edging stitch, and then we're gonna start our repeat, 3 half doubles, 1, 2, and then that's 3, and then chain 3, and then around the stitch on row 3, we have to locate it first. So this is the first half double of the repeat. We're gonna go a little bit to the right. This is the stitch underneath it, and this is the stitch where we are gonna work our front post single crochet. So it is the second stitch on row 3. Okay, so go around it. So there is no change from what we did in row number 2. That's our front post single crochet, and then we are working our way up with 5 single crochet around the 3 chains. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then continue working the repeat again. So our pattern is a repeat of rows 2 and 3. So we work the current row right here, and then we work a row of half doubles in the third loop. All right, so work your way through the pattern. Let me know what you think of it. And this brings us to the end of the scale pattern tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep crocheting.